all the questions. But I just want to take a moment and thank everybody that's here tonight, and I want to talk about Jordan. Sorry. I know he doesn't want me to do this, and I know it's about Apollo, I know it's about all the kids, but I'm sitting there, and I'm so proud of him. I remember going to Coester Valley High School and recruiting a sophomore, snotty-nosed little kid that thought he had all the answers, and he didn't. And I was a young assistant coach, and I thought I had all the answers, and I didn't. And to sit there and look up at that stage and watch what he is doing in this community, it's awesome. I'm very proud. Big tough football coach, but I apologize.
Coach, that leads to something I want to ask you about, and that I think great coaches have an ability to draw something out of an athlete that the athlete didn't even know themselves had. They didn't even know they could achieve that. They didn't know they could push themselves to that level. I think you see that maybe where you see Jordan is today. But how can we pull that out of ourselves in our day-to-day job, in our day-to-day life? How can we find that extra push in our own lives that you pull out of players?
Well, I think it starts with really spending time to get to know yourself. I think before you can impact others, you need to get to know yourself. And you need to get to know what your strengths are. You need to know what your weaknesses are. And then you have to be willing to work on those weaknesses, which not too many people are willing to do. I mean, you go out in communities all over the state, all over Lancaster, and kids are playing pickup basketball, and everybody's working on shooting a three-pointer now, and everybody's trying to dunk. But no one's willing to go out and work on the foul shots. You know, it's saying, here are my strengths, here are my weaknesses, and I'm going to work on those weaknesses, and then most importantly, I'm going to find the thing that I am truly most passionate about. Because if you can find something that you're truly passionate about, we've all heard this. I'm not coming up with anything revolutionary here, but you'll never work a day of your life. You know, you'll wake up every single morning. You'll be passionate about what you do. That's what Jordan's doing. That's what I'm doing. I'm living a dream. I'm working with young people. I'm using the game of football to make a difference in their lives. A lot of these college coaches all over the country, they go on and they sell the NFL. NFL. My job is not to send players to the NFL. My job is to make sure that our players leave our program as educated men and prepared for life. And then if the NFL thing happens, awesome. So I think it really just comes down to finding the thing that you're passionate about and then being willing to work on your weaknesses. I know very clearly what my strengths are and what my weaknesses are. My strength, clearly, always has been, is my passion and my drive. My biggest weakness is my passion and my drive. So I'm trying to kind of find balance. But I think it's very important that we all spend time as young people in truly finding out what is truly important to each one of us.
We kind of touched on this. Something I wanted to ask about, and it was bring up the Big Ten Network, because they've already made the Big Ten championship game. It's like already branded as their instant classic. They air this thing now at all hours of the day to remind folks of how great a game that was. And the wins last season speak for themselves. But
can I say something about that? Just so you guys know, that was part of the plan. Blown them out the first half. But the ratings wouldn't have been where they used to be. It wouldn't have been an instant classic. So that's all part of the plan.
So beyond that, you touched on it. How how do you define success? You personally, how do you define it?
Well, it's funny because I have a meeting this week with my athletic director, and they want me to set goals. They want me to say, for us to have a good season, it's this amount of wins. And I said, you can do that. I'm not. I've never believed in goal setting, and I get it. I understand the importance of goal setting, and I think it's a very valuable tool to use sometimes. The problem is you better be really good at it, because here's my point. When I got the job at Vanderbilt, everybody said I should not take the job. Before we arrived there, they had been to 4 bowl games ever in 122 years of playing football. They had only had 1 winning season in the previous 30 years before we showed up. They had gone 2-10 2 years in a row, and they played in a fairly good conference called the SEC. So we took the job, and what I would say is, what I learned very early on, and I believe in, this isn't for everybody, but it's what I believe in, is instead of setting goals or objectives, I want our players and I want our coaches to focus on the process of being successful, not the results. Because here's my point. If you set a goal, say at Vanderbilt, we had set a goal to win 7 games and go to a bowl game. That would have been a very aggressive goal, people would have thought. Well, it's my belief that it's human nature, once you reach your goal, everybody takes a deep breath. We've arrived, we've made it. And you can fight it all you want, then you can say, I'm going to set a new goal, but the effect is already set in. So what we believe is, wake up every single morning, do a back handspring out of bed, ready to attack the day with everything you have. Make that day your masterpiece. The more days you put together like that in the off season, the Saturdays will take care of themselves. The exam that you have 2 weeks from now in math, you study every single night for 2 weeks. And the process and focusing on being prepared, the exam will take care of itself. So I don't really kind of put a number on success. For me, I want to make sure that the program is moving in a positive direction. I want to make sure that the people that I work for, the president, the athletic director, the board of directors, our players, I believe that I work for our players. I believe in servant leadership, and I'm there to serve them. So all I'm really worried about is people feel like the Penn State football program has strong leadership, that it's headed in the right direction, and it's getting better every single day. And as long as those things are happening, the rest of it will take care of itself.
I think that leads to a question maybe on the other side of things. I mean, the distractions that surround your team, and really all of us, whether it be campus life, whether it be the media, good and bad. And how did you say that again? Yeah, I said the media, good and bad. Mostly good. And you think about what the young people in the room and the distractions they're going to run into as they take the next steps in their life. How do you take this group of young men? How do you take the guys on your team? How can we all learn to channel out those distractions and focus on becoming successful?
Well, I think that's probably more of a challenge than ever in the history of our society, in my opinion. And really you're trying to deal with 2 different things. And we've been fortunate, in my opinion, to have to deal with both. The first is, how do you deal with distractions that are negative and adversity? And I think, probably at Penn State and the community that I live in, we've been tested to deal with those challenges as much as anybody. That's one form. Then we go to the other end of the spectrum that we had this year, and we won 9 games straight, and everybody's patting our guys on the back, including myself, and telling us how wonderful we are now. And this is the same student section that at the halftime of the Minnesota game was going, "Fire Franklin." Yes, I heard it. So, what we teach our guys is, it's a weakness to get caught up in either or. The criticism or the praise. It's a weakness to get caught up in either one of them. So making sure our guys understand that. And I think, to be honest with you, that was a great example. I shared that with my team. As the season was going on, I was telling them that we have to stay grounded, we have to stay humble, we have to stay hardworking and blue collar and attention to detail and all the things that we talk about. And we have to tune those things out. And I told them, just like I tuned out the students chanting that. And they all started laughing. This was like one of those things we never really talked about. But I would also say that's one of the more challenging things to do now because of social media. In the past, what the head coach could do was, when things went well and you won the game, you go into the press conference and you give the players all of the praise that they deserve for winning the game. And when you lose the game, the head coach walks into that press conference and takes all of the blame on his shoulders. It's hard to do that now because with social media, Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and everything else that's out there, the fans can directly get to our players, and I can't insulate them from that. And as much as you tell them to turn it off, it's addictive. I mean, Facebook, Twitter, they spend millions of dollars on how do they make these apps addictive to people. So explaining to them why it's important that they understand how to compartmentalize all these things and be able to shut them off. But I think that's the biggest challenge is, more than ever, is how do they do that? I mean, I had a gentleman come up to me today. I'm not sure why he did this, but a guy who was a Virginia grad and fan. Is he here? And he was talking about, it was kind of rubbing it in my face how about 5 years ago, there he is right there. Yeah, I'm a Virginia fan. The best game I ever remember was when your field goal kicker missed 4 field goals.
Before your time.
I wasn't the head coach at the time. But to take that note, which is a funny story, but to really turn it the other direction, Sam Ficken, who as a senior ended up being a hero for Penn State, as a freshman, got death threats. Got death threats for missing 4 field goals on social media and all these different things. So, I look at all these things that some people in life look as challenges and adversity as opportunities. So that, for Sam, although it was challenging, was an unbelievable opportunity to turn something negative into a positive in his life. And Sam was able to ride out of Penn State as the hero and have a wonderful degree. And he's still bouncing around the NFL right now. And he got an unbelievable degree in economics. He was an academic All-American. So it's not how the story starts, it's how the story finishes.
And so that guy took the opportunity. Our friend took the opportunity tonight to try to get a jab at a coach who wasn't even there.
And he was just kidding around. He wasn't there.
But along those lines, you talk about a guy who has to feel taking the jab at friends. I mean, that's just, it's hard for us to comprehend. But it leads to a question about what sort of character you look for in a person, maybe in a family, when you go to recruit a player. And you think about our scholars who take next steps in lives, face job reviews, and challenges in college, or wherever else next. What are the character elements that you're looking for in that young person when you consider them for Penn State?
Well, I think we all know in any business, in any industry, in any organization, any team, everybody at Penn State focuses on Beaver Stadium, 2nd largest stadium in college football, 4th largest stadium in the world, our U.S. News and World Report rankings, and all those things are wonderful. Georgia's facility, how beautiful it is, and those things are nice, but at the end of the day, it's about people. It's about hiring the right people. It's about recruiting the right people. It's about surrounding yourself with as many positive influences as you possibly can. Now, I think one of the lessons that we've all known from the beginning of time when it comes to leadership is you surround yourself with people that are smarter than yourselves. But what's amazing is most people, when they get into a leadership position, they get intimidated by that, and they don't do that. Now, if you guys don't know, if you go to U.S. News and World Report, it goes Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Penn State, East Stroudsburg, then Cornell. I went to what I like to call the Penn State of the Poconos, East Stroudsburg. But it really comes down to people, and it's the same thing with your players. So Jordan will tell you, when I was recruiting Jordan, I had this really, really nice box fade. Somewhat of an Afro box fade. And I say that because when you're responsible for 125 18 to 22-year-old males, the most unpredictable people on the planet, right, ladies? And I'm responsible for them unfairly, probably 24 hours a day. The most important thing you can do is bring the right people in. So it's about asking the right questions. People think that the recruiting process is all about them kind of figuring us out, but we're also doing the same thing to them. So the obvious thing is the transcript. You look at the transcript, and that's obvious, the GPA, but the transcript will tell you so much more than that. What type of courses are they taking? Are they challenging themselves? Are they trending in the right direction? Are they growing up from 9th grade to 12th grade and maturing? You look for absences. How many absences the young man had throughout high school? That tells you a lot. How many tardies he had tells you a lot. You ask a lot of people. I stand in the office. As soon as I come in, I'm waiting for the administrative assistant to let me in. There's a student standing there. I ask the student, so what do you think about Jordan? The kid rolls their eyes. That tells you something about him. Obviously, when I did that with Jordan, the answer was, well, not only is he a really, really good football player, but he's a better person. You talk to the coach. Typically, the coach, that's his guy. He's going to tell you everything you want to hear. So now you ask the guidance counselor, you ask the teachers, you ask the other coaches in the community, and then for me, what I'm always going to do, I'm going to ask the custodians. My mom was a custodian at my high school. They know everything. So how the students treat the custodian, how they treat the person that's serving lunch, tells you a lot about their character. So for us, I'm trying to get as many pieces of information as I possibly can so I can make the best decision for my organization. If that makes sense.
I think that we have you here, off a long way from the football field. I know it's recruiting season, so there's a lot of work to do, but it's such a stressful job. Family makes a lot of sacrifices to join you on this journey of football coaching. These kids, the scholars about to enter in a stressful part of their life, changing locations, things like that. How do you find balance in your life? How do you relax? What do you do to find that work-life balance for you?
Yeah, I think the first thing you said is that my job is stressful. I would make the argument that my job is not stressful. If I view my job as stressful, I got problems. It's like when I recruited Jordan, people say playing the quarterback position is stressful. It's not. If you view it as stress, then you're not a quarterback. You can't play the position because you're the quarterback, not when you go to the practice facility. You're the quarterback from the time you wake up in the morning to the time you go to bed. Every time you leave your dorm to the time you go to bed. It's not just a practice, it's not in class, it's Saturday night when you're at the fraternity party with your buddy. You're always the quarterback. It's the same way as the head coach. I take my daughters for donuts at Dunkin' Donuts at 8 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. I'm not just the dad. I'm also the Penn State football coach. And I just have to realize that and I have to embrace it. When it comes to balance, I'm not going to sit here and say that I have balance in my life because I do not. I do not. And to be honest with you, I have a lot of coach guilt about how much time I spend with 125 other kids rather than my daughters. So I have a lot of guilt with that. I struggle with that, to be honest with you. But I will tell you this, I made a decision a very long time ago, because when I was coaching at Maryland, I was single, I used to be dating, and I would try to kind of sugarcoat my job to girls I was dating, and that didn't go very well. So what I did with my wife, I used a technique called a Jedi mind trick. And I told my wife, I said, look, you have to look at it like this. It's not a job, it's not a career, it's a lifestyle. I'm kidding around, but I do mean that. And what I mean is, although there's some real challenges in the time that I spent, I usually get to the office typically around 5:50 in the morning, and I usually get home around 10. And what I will tell you is this. I will also make the argument, although that is some sacrifices that my family has to make. My wife and daughters come to the office, and I've built an environment and climate that all my coaches' kids come by the office. They come to practice. My daughter's favorite thing in the world is Thursday nights, we have the players over to our house for dinner. And to see a 6'7", 335-pound offensive lineman getting makeup applied to them is awesome. And my daughter is being raised on a college campus, and education is around them. It is a wonderful experience for them as well. I also look at my job as not just to prepare these guys for jobs and educate them. It's not my job to help them be great football players, but we also recruit a lot of guys like myself that came from single-parent homes. So part of my job is also to show them how I treat my wife and to show them how I treat my daughters. That's part of the whole educational process for us. So it is demanding, but I would also say that we're unbelievably blessed. We work on a college campus. We're emphasizing education in our kids' lives. They got unbelievable role models all around them. So again, I think it's like anything else in life. It's how you perceive it. And perception is your reality. It's a powerful thing.
We've hit about the end of our time, but I want to give you the last word to some scholars of different ages in the room. Do you have any final piece of advice for them as they think about the next stage of life they're going through?
Yeah, you know, it's funny because I spoke at Harrisburg's graduation a couple weeks ago. And my message to them is probably the same message that I would give to the graduates and the scholars that are about to go on to college. And I would even say this once they graduate from college. You know, my thing goes back to kind of finding what you're passionate about, because that's going to make your life so much different when you're on that path, when you're on that course. So what I would tell all of the scholars in the program is to chase your dream, and to chase your dream as long as you possibly can. I don't want to make a comment here that might over simplify it, but I would make the argument that most of you have been broke. And what I would say is, stay broke as long as you possibly can. And what I mean by that is, chase your dream. And the longer you can chase your dream without money, and without a mortgage, and without bills, and a car payment, and things like that, the closer you're going to get to achieving it. Because once you start to have to make decisions based on finances, it changes everything. So my advice would be, chase your dream as long as you possibly can. You've been broke up to this point. What's a few more years? And chase your dream and enjoy the process and enjoy the journey, because the reality is you're going to be on this journey of learning and growing the rest of your life. So embrace it and enjoy it.
Thank you.
Mike, thank you, Coach. Oftentimes on occasions like tonight,